Rogue Trader, the CRPG. You know, I'm a huge Baldur's Gate 2 enthusiast, and in that game, there is a side quest where you become a captain of an interdimensional starship. Unfortunately, you only get to use it once. Every time I replay Baldur's Gate 2, I find myself thinking, wouldn't it be great if there was an entire game built around that concept? A massive RPG where you command a party of companions, each with their own story arc. A game built around tactical combat, we travel from world to world and get into adventures. Today, we're gonna find out whether it was actually a good idea, because that game finally exists. Rogue Trader, the computer RPG by Owlcat, was launched back in 2023, but I held off for a few years, waiting for the machine spirit to be tamed with patches and sanctified with DLCs. As of 2026, this is a 120+ hour adventure, the size of all the classic Baldur's Gates put together. And there is a new expansion coming out, and it's a big one. I thought, hey, this is a good time for a Rogue Trader video. Wouldn't it be great if I had an early review key? As luck would have it, Owlcat reached out to us. They asked how well I understood theoretical RPGery. I said I had a theoretical degree, etc., etc. They said, welcome aboard, idiot. Year 6. Porta Serpentum System. My name is Rock the Hound. I am the Lord Captain of the Von Valancius frigate Mercy of the Stars. The armada guarding the Xeno structure was destroyed by Uralon's word-bearers. I am about to give the order to activate the gate. Whatever is on the other side, he had to steal a sun to power it. Vogue, the first dawn. Hike, the second dawn. At times like this, I think I might have made a wrong choice. Cassia, would you still love me if I was a... Let's briefly talk about character creation. The first thing you need to be aware of is that this is the kind of system where you'll be gaining dozens of levels, and each level up is usually a tiny incremental upgrade. By mid-game, every class in Rogue Trader becomes a Pillars of Eternity wizard with an arsenal of free actions and self-buffs. On the normal or daring difficulty, you can build your characters intuitively, that is assuming you played a role game before. However, I strongly recommend you consult a guide for at the very least your protagonist's intended archetype. Some of the nuances of this system are quite strange. For example, I wanted to play Rogue Trader as a Psyker, because Psykers were super fun in the Chechen Wars era 40k game called Chaos Gate that introduced me to the setting so long ago. Turns out, Psykers synergize really well with the soldier archetype of all things, because soldiers get an ability called Run and Gun that gives them an extra attack.
Faith without deed is worthless.
And Gun, in this instance, also applies to spells and staves. Furthermore, the ballistic skill applies to staves as well. Not in a million years would I figured out any of this intuitively. That said, Rogue Trader is much easier to get into than something like Pillars of Eternity. The reason is simple: Warhammer 40k is a popular setting, and many individuals have already absorbed a huge amount of information about it through culture. You already understand many of the core concepts before the adventure even begins, which is good, because there is a lot happening in Rogue Trader. So let's start from the beginning. The 41st millennium, our first year in the Koronus Expanse, the uncharted frontier of the Imperium. This is Mercy of the Stars, a sword-class frigate. The ship is 1.6 kilometers long, home to 25,000 people. Vessels like this are self-contained cities, where entire generations of families can live and die without ever setting foot on a planet. It's big enough to have its own railroad system. The privileged indulge themselves in decadent excess. Blood cults gather in hidden chambers for secret rites and festivals. Beneath it all is the underclass, countless laborers packed into rusting compartments within the lower decks. They are fed what seems to be a mix of nutrient paste and sewage. The prologue establishes how we got into possession of a warship and became one of the most powerful people in the Expanse, seemingly overnight. The person we are conversing with is Conrad von Valancius, the Master of Whispers of the rogue trader Theodora von Valancius. We are all related, you see. The title of the rogue trader, and thus the ship, is heritable, and the von Valancius dynasty is about to have a succession crisis. Simply by looking at this snake, I can tell that he is about to stab us in the back. I just expected it to be more figurative than this. The ship is invaded by servants of the ruinous powers. It's time to gather a party and begin venturing forth. Structurally, Rogue Trader is very similar to Baldur's Gate 2. There is a long introductory chapter, then an absolutely enormous chapter 2, followed by a more linear main quest sequence, and so on. The difference is scale. Rogue Trader is megalomaniacally gigantic, not unlike the fictional universe it takes place in. The notoriously large Irenicus dungeon in Baldur's Gate 2 takes about an hour to complete. Maybe 2 hours if you do the side content on the surface. By contrast, the opening of Rogue Trader, getting the ship and exploring the first few planets, takes around 10 hours.
Run, fools, or fall!
Meet Abelard, a former officer of the Imperial Navy serving as Seneschal of the House von Valancius. Mechanically, Abelard is a melee fighter and a tank. Seems our predecessor played fast and loose with Imperial regulations. We have a witch on board. Idira is unsanctioned. This means that she never went through Imperium's cruel psyker training. So strictly speaking, she's a heretic. But I'm not telling anyone if you won't.
No!
Unfortunately, we'll never get to ask Theodora to clarify her policy. With all other von Valancius dead or corrupted by chaos, this leaves us in charge of the dynasty and the ship. Rock the Hound. From exile to Lord Captain of the Mercy of the Stars, and one of the biggest names in the sector. But there is one thing I didn't mention to our retinue. When Traitor Conrad struck us in the back, something about that blade. It left a wound that never healed. And sometimes I can hear a voice. Someone is talking to me.
The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy. A relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. I see you. On the day when the final dawn rises over the Iron World, I see you by my side on that day. The day of my resurrection.
Year 1. Mercy of the Stars. Officer's Deck. As the result of the incursion, the ship lost her navigator, and thus we are no longer warp-capable. Our replacement navigator is a young woman, Cassia Orselio. She is very thin, 2 meters tall at least, and has a third eye she conceals outside of combat.
When I found this place, it was so full of officers. Why did they all leave?
Cassia becomes the second most privileged person on the ship if a rogue trader holds power analogous to that of an IRL leader of a nuclear-armed nation-state. Then Cassia is like a daughter of a billionaire. My subjects must have found themselves overcome by your rare beauty, as I have.
Words like that, Lord Captain, could easily be misconstrued. You should familiarize yourself with some of the works in your library to learn the appropriate manner of conversing with a lady.
Cassia bows and walks away, but not before taking a book on etiquette from the shelf and leaving it on the table. But this will wait. Our predecessor had some sort of a prior arrangement with the Inquisition. We are to go to Rykad Minoris, make contact with an agent of the Inquisition, and assist him or her with whatever business they have on the planet. Rykad Minoris is a war zone. Our friend Abelard is a relatively normal, grounded character, but he still ends up in an amusing role. His job is to introduce us to others, following proper etiquette and protocol. You stand before rogue trader von Valancius, you worm! Snap to attention and give his lordship a formal report! The enemy appears to be a local chaos cult, whose followers ritualistically blind themselves in devotion to their creed. Execute the heretic.
Doubt is for the weak.
Combat in Rogue Trader unfolds in the sacred rhythm of turn and counter-turn, which is different from the older Baldur's Gates that were in real time. This specific implementation includes a simultaneous turns feature and the ability to fast forward time, which is kind of brilliant.
Allow me to introduce myself. Interrogator Heinrichs van Kellogg's of the Imperial Inquisition's esteemed Ordo Xenos.
Heinrichs is a psyker, skilled in biomancy. His talents are very useful in this objective-based battle against the heretic Aurora. The encounter design becomes increasingly elaborate as the game progresses. Early on, it's about fighting hordes of weaker cultists, but by the final 2 chapters, nearly every fight has a unique twist of some kind.
Naturally. Be gone.
As a final act of defiance, Aurora stabs a cogitator with a dagger and dies. The machine is probably beyond repair. The dagger remains lodged in the control panel. It's strikingly similar to the blade traitor Conrad stabbed us with. I should, take it, for safekeeping. Year 1. Rykad Minoris. The day of our triumph. It's an ancient custom. To celebrate our victory over the arch-enemy, we will drive through the city streets in a tank. I could get used to this. The soldiers behind us are carrying the body of the heretic Aurora. That's weird. I can't explain it, but I know for certain that right at this moment, the gaze of Aurora's dead eyes is fixed upon the back of my head. They're all going to die. The game's opening chapter is approaching its conclusion. The final dawn. The unknown Xenos stole the sun of the Rykad system.
Faith without deed is worthless.
That echo in her voice is the effect of the phenomenon known as veil degradation. Excessive use of psyker abilities is thinning the barrier between our world and the warp. Reality is falling apart.
Deliver us!
There is nothing we can do for Rykad Minoris. We have to flee the planet. The final boss of the chapter is one Space Marine.
The disgrace of Monarchia will be avenged.
Alright, one Space Marine and a sniper, providing cover fire. The Word Bearer has a bolter attack, a melee attack, and a charge attack. The battle is won by choosing good initial positioning that minimizes the incoming damage from both sources.
Reduced to dust!
Defeating a single Space Marine feels like a significant accomplishment. Back on the ship, our companions gather for an ideological debate. The 40K universe operates by different rules from our own, so conventional notions of good and evil are not always easily mapped onto it. The Inquisition wants us to destroy the planet's giant reactor from orbit, effectively exterminating the population of Rykad Minoris before they inevitably join the ranks of the archenemy. But Master Heinrichs, this world doesn't even belong to me. It's a Winterscale dynasty holding. We have to consider the geopolitics of this. I would rather avoid antagonizing our fellow rogue trader. Begin the ritual. Activate the Geller field. We are gone. Curiously, the Xeno ships that stole the sun looked Eldar, but the cult of the Final Dawn is a chaos cult. The Eldar have nothing but contempt for chaos. Strange.
Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the weaver of destinies.
Not now. The Inquisitor might be listening. Year 1. Furibundus system. Mercy of the Stars is on approach to Footfall, a massive void station, the first major port of call for travelers entering the region from the nearby Calixus sector. In the previous chapter, we spent a lot of time in oppressive environments. Things are going to be a little different from now on. Some days, Rock the Hound battles heretics on the border of this world and the Immaterium. Other days, he shares a meal with a politician and talks business. The space station is where we are introduced to the factions of the Koronus Expanse, like the Casbalica crime syndicate, represented by our new friend Jay the Smuggler. And this is the world map. We can go wherever we want. The signature technique of Owlcat is that they love stacking several mechanical layers on top of each other to create gameplay depth. It's like this. First, there is the party layer, because Rogue Trader is a Baldur's Gate-esque party RPG at heart. Then there is the ship layer. Mercy of the Stars also has an equipment screen as well as an inventory, weapons, shields, engines. This is important for turn-based ship combat. And then we have the exploration layer, where we travel from system to system and scan celestial bodies for resources. Exploration and combat net you trade goods, which are given to factions like the Casbalica in exchange for advanced equipment, which is important. Certain items can make certain character builds viable, because Rogue Trader is a party RPG at heart. It sure is good to be finally free of the inquisitorial oversight. Heinrichs clears his throat. By the order of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar, the rogue trader of House von Valancius is to take on board the agent of the Most Holy Inquisition and provide escort and support. This decree is effective immediately upon announcement. So ridding ourselves of this snitch won't be easy. Our goal is to explore the map and re-establish contact with the von Valancius colonies in the Koronus Expanse. By my rough estimates, exploring a single star system takes about an in-game month, sometimes longer. With dozens of systems scattered across the map, this adds up quickly. That means that the journey of Rock the Hound unfolds over the course of years. Year 2. Telikos Epsilon System. Janus is a von Valancius agri-world, a food planet. The production was disrupted when the locals began shooting each other. Famously, rogue traders are among the few truly free people in the Imperium. We are even allowed to deal with aliens as long as it serves the interests of mankind. And that's how Erliot of the Eldar species ends up in our retinue.
Reckless.
The Eldari woman is one of the survivors of the craft world Kruderak, which was destroyed somewhere in the Expanse. Erliot is pleasantly easy to use as a sniper. You position her behind cover, apply debuffs, and shoot the gun.
I am not your zenith pet, monkey.
When she is annoyed by us, which is often, she calls us Monkey, the Eldari term for a human. I see what you're doing. When she's impressed, she calls us Elentak, which supposedly means traveler in the stars. But I don't speak Eldar, and for all I know, it could actually mean stupid foreigner. Janus used to be an Eldar planet, hence the old webway portal. The Xenos are still here, operating from the shadows, provoking conflict between this world's rulers and the rest of the population. Everyone was so focused on the behind-the-scenes scheming that they failed to notice what was right in front of them. The planet is ruled by the cult of Slanesh, the Chaos God of Access. The subsequent battle takes place in a room full of stoned cultists, completely oblivious to what is happening around them.
Suits my purposes.
Let's talk about sorcery. Rock the Hound, like all Psykers, draws his powers from the warp. There are several Psyker schools. Rock is trained in pyromancy. It works like this. We apply a damage over time spell to a target and then detonate them using another spell. Later on, we gain a beam attack that melts armor.
Not a problem for me. Stand a chance.
There were moments when Rock unleashed something so powerful, I genuinely thought that the game had glitched.
Not a problem for me. Just a minor setback.
In some cases, our power literally does break the game, disrupting combat scripts. The battle was over so quickly that the bad guy reinforcements failed to register as active combatants.
You didn't stand a chance.
TLDR, the game's magic system is extremely good. Another chaos cult, purged with fire. I think I'll be cultivating a Xeno vassal state here on Janus.
Azurion knows that I do not care about the curious glances of Monkey.
Back on the ship, Erliot is seething. One of the crew members attempted to fraternize with her and even touched her hand. Ugh, gross. Iliad is a romance option in the game, but the relationship is of platonic nature. It's about meditating together. For her, physically interacting with a human would be the equivalent of bestiality. Year 2. Mundus Valancius system. The world of Dargonus is the capital of our dynasty. The view from the von Valancius palace is a reminder of just how powerful rogue traders really are. Our wealth is not even measured in currency anymore, but rather in something called the profit factor. It's an abstraction of our influence, our connections, and logistical power. Dargonus has a brilliant side quest where we navigate imperial bureaucracy to secure an official stamp for Jay in order to make her space important so that she could do crime things. This is your queue, and your ticket number is 394. Is this some kind of a joke? Hardly. In accordance with Decree DA 58, Clause 201, citizens of the capital world of the von Valancius Protectorate must submit their petitions at one of the assigned windows of the waiting hall. The decree makes no mention of the rogue trader being exempt from this rule. I guess we'll wait. Eight hours later, the queue barely moved. We're gonna have to get creative. Iliad distracts the locals with her grotesque Xeno appearance, while Jay steals their tickets so that we can take their place in the queue. 5 hours later, the queue barely moved. By the throne, I rule the lives of billions. Can't I just change the law or something? Your rights and privileges as rogue trader come into effect only after your official ascension ceremony. Until then, you are just another subject of the von Valancius Protectorate. So, do you guys think I have a shot with Cassia? The document is hereby certified. May his light and wisdom guard you. Next! Somehow, I have never felt more accomplished after doing a side quest. Year 2. Cranach system. Kiava Gamma is a forge world polluted by toxic emissions and chaos corruption. The planet is lost to the archenemy. Even from orbit, the signs are unmistakable. It gets worse below the clouds. Among the traitor legions, the word-bearers stand as the closest thing to an organized church. We should talk about this game's alignment system, called Convictions, because it's kind of a big deal. Interesting choices in Rogue Trader are often gated behind conviction thresholds, so the system pushes you to commit to an ideology and then stay consistent. There are 3 competing philosophies. Dogmatic characters carry out the God Emperor's will. They despise traitors, xenos, and heretics. They can perform minor miracles and execute ideologically impure companions. The iconoclast way is about being open-minded and practical. You are acting normal, which is abnormal in 40k. The so-called heretical characters can petition warp entities for power, or in this case, make friends with a machine demon. Spirit of the warp, bow to my will and defend me. We don't actually say the words out loud. That would be difficult to explain to Heinrichs. Having the monstrous machine as an ally makes the battle a lot easier. The Forge world will be reincorporated into the von Valancius domain. We are done here. This isn't your first time meddling in the deeds of the Word-bearers. You were there on Rykad Minoris. I sensed the presence of another Psyker. Someone made contact with you and then tried to harm you with sorcery. I did what I could. Can you remember what you saw? Uralon the Cruel is the entity's name, an apostle of the Word-bearers Traitor Legion. I don't know, Heinrichs. I think I just had a headache. The first months of Year 3, somewhere in the Koronus Expanse. Mercy of the Stars is pacifying the Von Valencia's domain. Most star systems contain some kind of adventure. A chaos-corrupted space station. A battle against Xeno-pirates.
Under that fire.
A crashed black ship infected by a plague. A colossal, ancient structure drifting in the void. Beyond exploration, there is a loop of planetary management. We gather resources and then use them to construct buildings in the colonies. These buildings provide significant benefits, sometimes unique abilities or items, sometimes the special navigator's resource used for map traversal, reputation gains, or valuable ideology points, all sorts of stuff. Another ship-related mechanic is Nomos, our frigate's unique machine spirit, described by tech priests as Omniscia's Miracle, Category 5 or higher. And no, the ship is not a romance option. Not until Beamdog makes a remaster of this. The void lanes of the Koronus Expanse are stalked by a cruel and predatory alien race known as the Drukari, the Dark Eldar. In our pursuit of the Xenos who stole the sun of the Rykad system, we hound a Drukari warband led by the warrior Marajai, who challenged us to settle a score. To answer the challenge, we travel to Last Chance of Cyrene, also known as Cinerus Maleficum. The Cabal of the Reaving Tempest will be waiting for you, Monkey. Do not come unarmed. Let's talk a bit more about ship combat. The ship gets XP, levels, and abilities like a character. Our party members are assigned officer roles, and their skills directly affect ship combat performance. Theodora's witch Adira handles warp manipulation. This power is called the Empyrean Storm. Abilities like Shallow Jump and Strafe let us reposition our ship and bring enemies into our firing arcs. We did not come unarmed. Among the more exotic abilities is the option to dispatch a boarding crew directly onto enemy vessels. We can also launch torpedoes and take direct control of them as separate units on the battlefield. When I first heard that Rogue Trader would include ship combat, I assumed it would be a gimmick, but it actually ended up being my favorite of the mechanical layers, outside of the Baldur's Gating. Once the turmoil subsides, we withdraw to our quarters, only to find Erliot exploring our chambers. I had no idea this was your dwelling. I'm sorry, Erliot, but we'll have to finish this conversation later. The Mercy of the Stars has just returned to our capital world of Dargonus. It's under attack by the cursed Drukari. The view is, not quite what it used to be. You need to understand something about the Drukari. The Dark Eldar feed on the psychic residue of suffering. Inflicting pain is a necessity for them. They do it to live. But why are they stealing art? That's an open question. In any case, the raid was only the beginning of our problems. Year 3. Lavella's Heart System. His lordship, von Valancius, is currently located at the bottom of a pile of refuse, somewhere on the planet Thessera. It smells like feces. There is a robot dog lying next to me, man's best friend. I am trapped in the body of a malnourished young woman. You might be wondering how I got in this situation. Well, you see, the locals have a chaos artifact that allows one to switch bodies. Thessera is a feudal world. This usually means the pre-industrial level of technological development. Feudal worlds are valued for their hardy populations, which is good for Imperial Guard or even Space Marine recruiting. This is a DLC planet. Rogue Trader DLCs are seamlessly integrated into the main campaign, like Tales of the Sword Coast for Baldur's Gate. You get a series of new adventures that initially seem unrelated, but eventually you start noticing a theme. DLC 1, Void Shadows, introduces Kibella, an assassin companion with a new archetype focused on melee combat and stacking extra actions. This expansion is about exploring life aboard the von Valancius ship, the lower decks, the Dynasty Crypt, the Astra Chapel. But what it's really about is lying. It was one of the rare moments when I genuinely felt manipulated by a video game character. This must be what it feels like when someone succeeds a speech check against you. I will speak no more of this. A very good expansion. The second DLC, called Lex Imperialis, is about space law. We get 1.5 new companions, that's Solomon and his robot dog Glato. The pursuit of tax evaders leads us here to the medieval world of Thessera, and eventually to this pile of refuse. She-Rock must explore the medieval planet, packed with an impressive number of new assets, and convince our companions that we are who we claim to be. I am Rock the Hound von Valancius, heir to Theodora von Valancius, who perished in the course of Kunrad's treachery. You could have memorized a few facts from the Lord Captain's biography. Abelard, present me to my retinue. That tone. We won't recover our body without a fight. The single biggest factor in winning battles is making the most of certain characters who can give extra turns to their teammates. Our beloved Cassia comes with a set of abilities that do exactly that. It also helps to get lucky with rolls, to avoid exploding as the veil deteriorates. Such a rare luck for a mortal. This luck is named the Edge of Daybreak. Had it not been for my sleepless gaze, your mind would have long since joined the mournful host of those who are no more. Year 4. Mercy of the Stars is en route to Dargonus. The capital has been rebuilt, and we are about to be formally recognized as rogue trader in the eyes of the Imperium. Some of the most powerful individuals in the Expanse are in attendance. That imposing figure in the crowd is Xavier Calcazar, the Inquisitor overseeing Koronus. An unexpected visit. I wasn't told. I, however, have been told all about you. And these two are rogue traders Chorda and Winterscale. Welcome to the Circle, where each member is as powerful, ambitious, and vain as the last. The two represent opposing ideologies. Chorda is pious, while Winterscale has the heart of the adventurer. A shooting range. When we return to our quarters, we find Inquisitor Calcazar sitting in our chair. Heinrichs the Rat stands beside him. The message is unmistakable. He wants to establish dominance. After all, the Inquisitor might be the only individual in this entire sector with the authority to push us around. It will only be heresy if I lose, and I will not lose. On behalf of my house, I, Rock the Hound von Valancius, hereby promise and guarantee to offer the Inquisition any assistance it may require. Emperor protects.
Your oath has been heard and added to the record.
I don't think he believed us. Calcazar is gonna be a problem. Mercy of the Stars, Sector Bionica. To prepare for the wars to come, we need to become the best version of ourselves. You are looking at the game's augmentation system. My vision is augmented, etc. This is a feature of the most recent expansion, the Infinite Museum. The DLC should be out around the time when this video is out. The developer Owlcat provided us with an early review key on the condition that I will showcase the expansion, which is a good deal because that's what I should be doing anyway. The existing implants on companions that always had them are represented in the system, as you can see. Typically, an implant has upsides and downsides. You get extra built-in armor, but now you are unable to wear actual armor. By the way, meet our new friend, Iogan. Ugh, such pungent odors! Von Valancius covers his nose with a handkerchief. The smell of rotting flesh. Iogan is performing some sort of involuntary surgery. You might be asking, didn't we already have a tech priest companion? That's right, we did. We have Pascal. Iogan is nothing like him. Pascal is one of the dogmatic servants of the Omnissiah, while Iogan is a lot more open-minded. He also wears a top hat. We'll get to see him in action shortly. Tier of Solar System, the Lost World of Zarkov.
In his name we hold unflinching, armed with faith thou will redoubt.
In his light, a toil unending, oath beyond the duty bound.
Dead and lost forever,
Taken from us too.
Goes hard. These are soldiers of Astra Militarum. Their clothes are adorned with numerous trophies. Abelard. Before you stands Rock the Hound von Valancius himself, conqueror of the Koronus Expanse, sovereign of Dargonus, Janus, and a multitude of other worlds. Bow your heads in awe and reverence, for neither before nor after this moment are you destined to behold anyone of greater majesty. The soldiers are the ancestors of the 32nd Merov Penal Regiment, requisitioned centuries ago by rogue trader Siberian von Valancius. During an expedition to GH 89717, now called Zarkov, the Lord Captain was lost in the roots. His retinue activated the Final Order. The soldiers were to hold the line until the arrival of the fleet. This was hundreds of years ago. They have waited ever since.
we
Down below, beneath the outpost, lies this tomb. As badass as the troopers above are, we all know that the real star of the show is someone else. This Vault of Rarities belongs to Trazyn the Infinite, preserver of histories. A multitude of historical artifacts that have been deemed worthy of the Overlord's attention are gathered here, at his will. This, specifically, is the Koronus exhibition. We are looking at what appears to be a chaos-mutated Astartes fighting in Eldari. I'm guessing the Dreadnought is an asset Olcat made for their next 40k game. Two sisters of battle fighting some sort of a chaos construct. Trazyn likes collecting Astartes, it seems. I am Captain Zorael of the Death Watch. While clearing out one of the Xenos-infested planets, our unit was ambushed. Blood of Sanguinius, we fought to the bitter end. The Xenos did not finish off the wounded, instead taking them as trophies. Trazyn has the power to steal moments from history and preserve them forever, suspended in time by the arts of a chronomancer. Here, an entire regiment of the Death Corps of Krieg is trapped in a forever battle, and over there we have Siberian von Valancius making his final stand against an Inquisition assault on Dargonus. So he also had an Inquisition problem. Siberian earned Trazyn's attention by stealing a relic the collector was interested in acquiring. The theft impressed him enough that he decided to recover both the artifact and the thief. As a result, Siberian's final battle has become another exhibit in Trazyn's museum. The Overlord implants Rock with a surveillance device.
Get out of my museum.
And banishes us from the premises. The DLCs have us visiting many worlds. Combined, they add close to 25-ish hours of gameplay. Basically, a full extra game inside Rogue Trader. Mercy of the Stars is en route to the Atlassian Reach. Our associate Erliot believes she finally found a lead on a group of survivors from her craft world. What she neglects to mention is that the source of this information is our nemesis, Marajai the Drukari. We are walking into a trap. Paralyzing gas. Bring in the injectors. I don't want these wretches to move an inch until they are in the hands of the Arch Machinator. And thus begins the excellent third chapter of the game, which is about Rock's career as a gladiator and an alien Kremlinologist. The Drukari do not settle on planets or in craft worlds. The bulk of their population is concentrated in the Dark City, hidden somewhere within the Eldari webway. Year 4? The Dark City of Commorragh. Today, I woke up in a pile of refuse again. Doesn't seem like the sort of thing that should happen often to heads of state. I don't know how long I've been out. Possibly weeks. Our body has traces of surgery. All our equipment is gone, and there is a masked Eldari figure talking in verse. Alas, the bliss of death will save you not. The whirling waltz of chance and gloom you'll dance. The Eldari gives us a pistol and leaves. Xenopoetry is not very good. Every bone in our body feels broken. The only thing this pistol is good for is for unliving myself. Edge of daybreak, if you can hear me. Sheltered in the web of souls, look for the signs, break down inhibitions, destroy barriers, let the truth permeate the dark city once more. First things first, we should join a gang. There are 2 organizations to choose from. One is led by this fella named Commissar. Obviously not a real commissar, but at least he's human. The other is led by a Xeno named Melis, who has been in the Dark City for a long time. Commorragh is hidden on the underside of existence and is stitched together from scraps of various dimensions, powered by the energy of stolen suns. Excuse me, powered by what? But I forgot the most important part. Meet our new boss, Tervantius, the Arch Machinator. He is a homunculus, a flesh sculptor. Since the Dark Eldar diet consists of suffering, naturally they have an RPG combat arena. Tervantius wants us to become a gladiator and publicly humiliate his political rivals. They have forgotten their place. They lack respect. Sir, you have abducted exactly the right person.
Nothing I can't do. Opposing me was
Your
In my lane, focused, flourishing. Meanwhile, our rival Marajai is having the worst day in his life. By capturing us, he made himself look like a threat to other Archons. He lost favor with powers that be. His career is over. Now he's arena meat, not unlike myself. We should be friends. Your offer is accepted, Monkey. Welcome aboard. You can find friends in the unlikeliest of places.
my time is now.
It's hard to tell how long we've been in the Dark City. You know what? I'm beginning to like it here in Commorragh. I could live like this. Incinerate Xenos as a day job, socialize with other gladiators, ride around on a swoop bike. I don't miss being a politician at all. The Commissar turned out to be a nobody from some Imperial Guard penal battalion, but I did beat a Commissar to death with a spade and take his uniform. Unfortunately, the boss is not pleased with us. We were supposed to annoy his political enemies and then die. Instead, we won, which makes it look like he made a move against the authorities. So the Arch Machinator has to urgently relocate to another district of Commorragh. Our own escape from the Dark City is orchestrated by the same mysterious masked Eldari talking in verse. Your part comes next, to break the bonds and flee. The final arena challenge is a sequence of battles we must survive without resting.
Shall survive.
It's a gauntlet, and by the end, the arena is soaked in layer upon layer of blood. Thankfully, the Drukari have a habit of lining up directly in front of Rock's beam of fire. After enough victories, the Harlequin intervenes and helps us escape through a portal. A portal that leads to the Arch Machinator's new hiding place. You survived, Specimen. What a woeful lack of ability to follow orders. Hello, Tervantius. I have not missed you either. That's not true. Specimen, you might have noticed, The homunculus gestures towards a massive construct surrounding him. He is shielded from his enemies by a warp-powered force field, completely impervious to outside interference. So we won't be able to take revenge. This conversation is pointless. What is this? A chance to open a warp breach in the heart of our enemy's bastion. I didn't expect anything in this damned place to put a smile on my face. Edge, see through my eyes a doorway into the dark city, and pray accept it as my offering. What? Disciple of truth, you have outdone yourself. The truth marches ever closer. The dark city will become its domain. Commorragh will fall. It is a bit strange that we are on a first-name basis with the Edge of Daybreak. In the next room, we rescue an Eldar Farseer, and the first thing he does is scold Elliot about her connection to us. Commorragh, City of Light, City of Magic. With the exception of the racist Eldari, this was a pleasant visit, and I will remember it fondly. I think part of me will always remain in Commorragh, and not just because Tervantia stole some of my organs. Let's get out of here. After many misadventures in the labyrinth dimension, our unlikely group of frenemies finds their way back home. Janus, the food planet. Year 5, Mercy of the Stars. In orbit above Janus. So, what did we miss? A lot. The Koronus Expanse is on fire. The rogue trader houses are feuding. The Drukari are raiding human colonies. The cult of the Final Dawn is back. Xavier Calcazar is gathering an army at Footfall. I leave for a few months and everything falls apart. Now, if you excuse me... Vogue, the first dawn. Hike, the second dawn. Both pieces of the blade are placed on the altar. Vogue Hike is a shard of what was once whole. The shards dissolve like snow in the sunlight. The liquid then powers into our body. The ordination is complete. The galaxy is a forgotten battlefield where the prince's orphans once stood together against a mighty viceroy of the realm of the sorcerer. If you find yourself alone, beseech us. Vogue Hike is forever in your blood. Cassia developed a new mutation during the warp jump. The woman is terrified that her body will eventually become something monstrous. I don't have the heart to tell her that before long, a few extra organs will be the least of our problems. Year 5. Nameless Star System. The flagship of the Winterscale dynasty is the cruiser the Emperor's Vow. The cruiser recently won a battle against Eldari raiders over the world of Quetzaltemer. Lord Winterscale chose to descend to the planet and personally finish off the prey. An officer from the Vow informs us that Winterscale has been lost in the woods for more than 30 days. The highlight of the Quetzaltemer experience is this Fallout 2 town. Not far from there, we find Winterscale's hunting party.
My spirit.
Now, riddle me this. Caligos Winterscale spent 30 nights in the jungle. He is not wounded. He is not exhausted. He is not even tired. There is a feral grin on his face. He's armed with an axe. Really gets your noggin jogging, ain't it? I've read in a spoiler that it's possible to make him join us as a companion, but I believe this requires grinding the iconoclast ideology path. And there is another problem. Tervantius, the arch-machinator, managed to somehow survive this and is operating a secret lab on Quetzalcoatl. You! I'm sorry for letting Edge possess your body, but you do have several. So the gimmick of this fight is that the lab keeps spawning waves of disposable enemies every turn. And then there are these grotesque multi-limbed constructs, which must have been a nightmare to model and animate.
Stand a chance?
The game has been setting up a bunch of Chekhov's guns, and it's time we fire all of them. The truth is in your blood now, and you are blessed to discover the lost part of the name of the Edge. Year 5. Furibundo's system. We are back at Footfall, formerly a free port, now Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar's base of operations. Calcazar is not interested in governing. That role has been delegated to Incendia Chorda. Incendia, that's an interesting name. Chorda slowly eats the exposed brain of the man beside her with a spoon. I must know the taste of criminals' thoughts. That's how I learn to recognize their patterns. Abelard, can we go back to Commorragh? Remember the Liege of Footfall? We dined with him, all official-like. This was a few years ago. This is him now, dethroned, covered in bandit tattoos, at war with Chorda. Sure, I'll help you retake the station, if you kneel. The last remnants of faith within him are crushed. By bowing to us, he is bowing to the Weaver. There is no going back now. The battle against Incendia is a classic Baldur's Gatean party versus party fight. I like the idea of heads of state settling things among themselves with plasma pistols and sorcerous incantations. But enough entertainment. Now, to business. The accursed word-bearers have seized the machine world of Euphrates II. Uralon the Cruel was seen on the surface. The Inquisitor is responding with 2 armies of his own, the Adeptus Mechanicus and Space Wolves. The Von Valancius fleet will join them. Our combined force will reconquer Euphrates II. I'm giving you a chance to redeem yourself. Are you implying that I'm a heretic? Lord Inquisitor, do you have a single claim to This is the critical moment in the story when ideological divisions tear the group apart. Enough words, Alantak. There is no saving your soul. Erliot leaves. Farewell, and pray to the Emperor that you will find redemption before I have to grant you his peace. Who the hell are you? Heinrichs and the angry loyalist lady have abandoned us and joined Calcazar. None of this matters. Their stories are exhausted. New games await. I will hound your enemies, Lord Inquisitor. Emperor's Palm System. As we approach Euphrates II, Calcazar's generals hold a war council. No unity among them. They will never learn the truth. Hide our intentions behind a facade of loyalty. Now is the time to listen. Time to act. will come later. And then the campaign interrupts standard gameplay for a text adventure sequence where we guide the course of the massive battle through dialogue choices. Correct me if I'm wrong and/or delusional, but these book event sequences were never part of the millennial formula. They seem to have appeared during the Kickstarter era, Pillars of Eternity, Torment Numenera. It's one of those things that feels like they've always been there, but they were not, like the idea of character builds. Once we reach the surface, it becomes clear that the Astartes operation has failed. Remember Conrad? Conrad the traitor who stabbed us in the back. You are too late. Your allies have fallen. Perhaps it's time to admit your defeat? If you do, No, I won't promise you anything.
When the final dawn rises over the Iron World, I see you by my side on that day. The day of my resurrection.
Sameth. What? What is the Vogue, Hike, Sameth is the name of the Edge of Daybreak. The name is revealed, and now all that's left is the sacrifice. Uralon, would you mind if I borrowed Conrad for a moment? My imprisonment ends. I am made manifest. Rejoice, mortal witnesses, for I have come to lord over you. What follows is our big chaos question. Do we become the demon's vassal, or does it become ours? Serving Edge no doubt has its benefits. It knows many secrets. The stolen sun. Commorragh. What was the Arch-Machinator's arc about? What is kept in the depths of Euphrates II? The game introduced all these plot threads, but they haven't come together yet. But I have not traveled this far, or endured so much, to become a pet of a pet. So be it.
Breathing Tempest Incarnate!
Edge opens by incapacitating Rock for one turn. This appears to be scripted. Uralon and the Word Bearers will not interfere. Each turn, the demon summons a small army of minions, and one of them is used to maintain an invulnerability shield around Edge.
All too easy.
But those details quickly become irrelevant, because by this point we have crossed the line between psychic power and real-ass sorcery.
Suits my purposes.
Power overwhelming. Edge of Daybreak did not survive the second turn. The thing about the Lords of Change is that they love the game even more than they love being alive. Edge gives us final instructions. Craft your first secret, lie, and let fallen servants of the dark gods take credit for your acts. Gain fame as the smiter of heresy. Allow the Golden Throne's agents to complete their clandestine machinations. Year 6. Porta Serpentum System. Many years ago, our predecessor Theodora ventured into the uncharted edge of the Koronus Expanse. There, she discovered a Xeno artifact of unimaginable power. As a test, Theodora destroyed the craft world Commorragh. Xavier Calcazar learned of the weapon and seized it for himself. Presumably to power the device, he consorted with Xenos, directing them to steal the stars of the Expanse. He is responsible for the destruction of Rykad Minoris and probably other Imperial worlds. Xavier Calcazar is a traitor and a heretic. It will only be heresy if I lose. And I will not lose. The major powers of Koronus, the Imperial Navy, the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Liege, and the Cos Bellica have all given us their blessing to hunt down the renegade. For the record, I would like to point out that the one individual in this story who is not responsible for the Expanse's current troubles is the Edge of Daybreak. The Chaos Rebellion on Mercy of the Stars put an end to whatever plans the genocidal monster Theodora no doubt had been pursuing, and the Word Bearers, they have simply divined Calcazar's schemes via the art of prophecy and took advantage of them. Remember this place? The Great Hall. This is where this story began, half a decade ago.
I did not expect to meet you here at this hour.
Cassia is thinking about the future. Soon, our billionaire girlfriend will become the head of a great navigator house. She will have responsibilities away from the ship. I will be with you through everything, if you will have me. Wow, I just noticed, she is a lot taller than us.
I love you. Take me to your chambers. Take me there now.
My name is Rock the Hound. I am the Captain Sorcerer of the von Valancius frigate Mercy of the Stars. The Inquisition Armada guarding the Xenostructure was destroyed by Uralon's Word Bearers. I'm about to give the order to activate the gate. Whatever is on the other side, he had to steal a sun to power it. Switch on Vox communication with all decks. Crew, this is the Lord Captain speaking. I am taking the ship into the unknown, where danger lies and glory awaits. Are you with me? Thousands of feet strike the decks as if marching into oblivion for von Valancius. Year 6, Batiada System. The Unbeholden Reaches. These are the Nephilim, Omnissiah's fallen angels, unmatched in their perfection. In the final chapter of the adventure, we briefly return to the traditional gameplay loop. We explore star systems, scan planets, and discover traces of lost expeditions. Well, we'll discover much more than that. The principle of entropy, conceived by the Omnissiah, was fundamental. Thus even the perfect became flawed through the overabundance of perfection. Necrons possess something called Reanimation Protocol. Destroyed units will rise again, and this is also a feature of Necron starships. Nephilim come in all shapes and sizes. Necron snipers are called Death Marks. Scary name. They failed to land a single hit in this entire game. Operation Precious Sentinel is in its final stages. The increase in Xenos activity is a trivial development. They were supposed to guard the device, but they slept through the incursion. Only the shard's emanations could make them stir.
Let the slaughter commence!
Uralon occupies 4 tiles instead of 1. He is Astartes, and he is one of them leadership characters. He can also summon demons as his unique ability. We don't get to use him much, but I do appreciate when the game still throws new ideas 100+ hours in. Uralon was overhauled in the Infinite Museum expansion, which makes quite a few changes to the final chapter actually. We can make a deal with Trazyn. In exchange for our ship's machine spirit, Nomos, Trazyn will help us in the final battle. But the fact that Trazyn even wants Nomos makes me very suspicious. The media briefing document Owlcat sent us says that the game's development continues. There will be more additions in the future. You are a prophet, are you not? Reveal the ways to me. He holds a key, and that key must be yours. Other paths hold only oblivion and death. For a moment, we can see lines of unease and doubt cross his brow. You are hiding something from me, sorcerer. A few weeks later, we arrive at the Sanctum of Tephitos system. 3 dead stars. Whatever weapon Theodora uncovered, it's being kept here, on the tomb world of Epitaph. The final stretch of the game is a gauntlet of boss fights. Boss number 1, the Xeno Knight. The developer Owlcat made several decisions to keep turn-based combat moving at a reasonable pace. One of them was keeping battlefields relatively compact. This fight is an experimental exception. The arena is huge. The encounter also showcases another way Owlcat makes large-scale battles work in turn-based. Our damage dealers are extremely powerful, and the bad guys don't have that much HP. The pieces rarely remain on the board for long. Calcazar's soldiers are in no hurry to lower the force shield. The Empyrean is with you. You are with us. Command. Cause and effect. The shield was never here. The soldiers were never born. The obstacle never existed. Our blatant abuse of the warp broke something in the fabric of reality. Boss number 2, the Incarnations. We face 3 alternative versions of ourselves: Rock the Righteous, Rock the Merciful, and Rock the Glorious. Is there some ironic lesson in what's going on? Should I be looking in the mirror a little less? Or perhaps try to look at myself from the outside? Or is this a hint that I am my own worst enemy? The Incarnations describe their adventures. In one of them, Xavier turned Footfall into a colossal projectile, which he crashed into Euphrates II after it was captured by Uralon the Cruel. Fun people. Let's kill them. By stacking extra actions from Cassia and Uralon, Rock destroyed all 3 incarnations on the first turn. The Inquisitor is accompanied by our treacherous companions, Heinrichs and the Angry Lady. Theodora's weapon is a shard of a pre-ancient being of cosmic power. They were called the Catan. The entity is currently trying to escape, and I am here to collar it. The idea is to capture a star god and use it as a guard dog in the service of the Imperium. I figured out the Catan plot when the ship's machine spirit Nomos was introduced. Its portrait is very similar to Catan concept art. For some characters, it might be possible to side with Kel'Khazar. But we made our choices long ago. Execute the heretic.
Crush them!
Boss number 3, Xavier Kel'Khazar, and our former companions. They will be the first to fall.
Useless plaything, broken already?
The idea of this fight is that Kel'Khazar tanks your party while the rest of the expedition grinds us down. And this almost worked. Their problem is that nobody they have on the field is capable of seriously harming Marajai or Abelard. Mockery. Another soul slips beyond the veil. That's our prize. Boss number 4, the Star God. So, what's a Star God capable of? A burst fire attack from the Necron staff.
Not enough!
Marajai is not impressed. Another ability is spawning weaker copies of itself. What's up with this random blue horror glitching whimsically near the edge of the arena? Looks like it's having the time of its life. If you have the Infinite Museum expansion, and you made a deal with Trazyn, he shows up in the final battle.
I suffered singularity.
The Catan has some sort of a marked for death ability, but I never even got a chance to see how it worked. The one who landed the final blow that ended the campaign was Uralon the Cruel, using a bolter pistol. You know what? I think we're getting off on the wrong foot. Abelard, present me to the Star God. Before you stands Rock the Hound von Valancius himself, conqueror of the Koronus Expanse, liberator of Rykad, champion of Commorragh, twice slayer of Tervantius the Arch-Machinator, prince of the Casbelica, executioner of the heretic Kel'Khazar, captain sorcerer of the void ship Aurora, a man indebted to no power and beholden to no master. Bow your heads in awe and reverence, for neither before nor after this moment are you destined to behold anyone of greater majesty. Rogue Trader, the CRPG. Review. Is this the best Baldur's Gate 2 like ever made? Well, I'm not ready to commit to that opinion until I finish the Deadfire DLCs, but it is a contender. Rogue Trader. What worked? The story concept, NPC variety and personalities, Veil degradation, some of the best-in-class DLCs, Commorragh, encounter design, visual style, the feeling when you destroy legions of enemies as a sorcerer, private sector explorer, the mid, things I'm not sold on. The hyper-incremental RPG progression system. I stopped leveling up my characters in the final act because it felt like busy work. Abilities that grant extra actions. This is a classic Infinity Engine type of a problem. You have abilities that are so powerful that they make the rest of the system not matter. Why do anything? All I need to win is Rock and Cassia. I stopped managing my inventory halfway through the game. Rogue Trader. What is bad about this game? The camera, of course. This is the biggest victim of free camera since the Age of Decadence. Look at this. The environments look great if you observe them from the right camera angle. The free camera feature is here to make sure this basically never happens. Let me be clear. I decided that from now on, I'll be a chud of this very specific idea. Non-static cameras severely damage composition, readability, and presentation without contributing anything to the game. I regret they were ever invented. Another thing, colony management is an important part of the game, but it's done via this UI that feels very soulless to use. It's like managing spreadsheets. But I think this is actually good. This is an opportunity for all CAT. If, say, 6 months from now they want people talking about Rogue Trader again, here is what they should do. Replace this system with something like this. Make it visual. Let players actually see their worlds develop. The foundation is already there. The artists have produced a lot of assets that look like they could be repurposed for this sort of feature. I can already see the PC Gamer headline. CRPG Rogue Trader adds Heroes of Might and Magic style strategy mode. Rogue Trader the Genius. This very specific bit of music, the Footfall theme, is brilliant. It's social, communal, there is even a hint of warmth and lightheartedness to it, and yet it's still unmistakably grimdark. Impressive how the composer managed to fuse two contradictory moods into a single track. This is some of the best 40K music ever produced. Year 7. The von Valancius frigate Aurora, in orbit above Dargonus. The end. When the Rogue Trader's apostasy became apparent, the Imperial Navy fulfilled its duty. The Battle of Dargonus has begun. The crucial reason for the Loyalists' defeat was the high percentage of captains who betrayed their oaths and defected to the Rogue Trader's side. In response, a new punitive squadron was assembled in the nearby Calixis sector. However, it was unclear whether it would survive the warp storms of the Great Rift, which had cut off the Expanse from the rest of the Imperium. The word-bearers established themselves in the von Valancius domain. Thousands of scribes scratched away on data slates, slowly losing their minds as they recorded the unholy teachings, and thousands of voxes broadcast the word-bearers' hideous sermons across the Expanse.
The disgrace of Monarchia will be avenged.
The Liege of Footfall managed to survive 14 assassination attempts before someone finally succeeded. Caligos Winterscale resisted the temptations of Khorne and returned to his domain, and the traitor known as the Commissar lived against all odds, making deals and buying his own life with the lives of others. Half a century later, the Expanse trembled at the echo of Eldari war songs. The children of Assyrian had come to avenge the death of the Krudarak. And the Arabenian, the Eldari poet from Commorragh, visited us once again. Sneaking onto Dargonus, he came to the Rogue Trader's palace and left him a special gift. A case of Eldari crafting, unmistakably ancient and precious, adorned with a rune of an eye inside a triangle. Only the Lord Captain knew what was in the case. Attention from an Arabenian bodes nothing good. Many believe that even speaking to one is tantamount to a death sentence. Despite scandalous rumors about a love affair with the Rogue Trader, Lady Navigator Cassia continued to accompany her lover for a time. When Cassia took the throne as Novator, love gave way to duty. Yet, even after entering an arranged dynastic marriage, she kept in contact with the only person she had ever loved until her dying day. Alas, Novator Cassia did not know how to play the political game, and to avenge Cassia's death, the rogue trader destroyed House Orselio. Years later, when his mortal body could no longer contain his soul, Rock the Hound received one final reward. The ruinous powers raised him into the Empyrean and remade him as a demon prince. The ascension was complete. For Rock, this is a surprisingly positive ending. This still leaves one mystery unresolved. What did the Erebenian mean when he showed up at our place wearing absolutely nothing but a Karl Marcus t-shirt from bobrusk-shop fourthwall.com? Perhaps Warhammer lore experts can shed some light on this mystery. Alright, see you folks in a week or so.